So this is episode 10 of Books and Tea. So as per usual, we'll start with the tea that we're drinking today. So traditional medicinal is the brand. Herbal teas. And this is organic rose hips and hibiscus. So it's very good. I love hibiscus. So anyways, this time I made it as iced tea because it's summer. And so what I did was I used 2 tea bags and brewed it in hot water, to make it stronger. Why is there always construction every time I try to film? Anyways, so I, to make it stronger, and I poured it over ice. It's, weak. Like, I didn't make it strong enough. The tea itself is pretty good. I've had it before, but yeah. I don't know. Like, it feels like I'm drinking just like flavored water, but it's very like floral and very nice. So I would recommend it. The book that I'm going to be talking about today is by my favorite author. And do you know who my favorite author is? It is Kurt Vonnegut. That is right. The book is called God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. Sorry, my copy's kind of filthy. Okay, so I'll start by reading the back. Elliot Rosewater, drunk volunteer fireman and president of the fabulously rich Rosewater Foundation, is about to attempt a noble experiment with human nature. With a little help from writer Kilgore Trout, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, is Kurt Vonnegut's funniest satire. An etched-in acid portrayal of the greed, hypocrisy, and follies of the flesh that we are all heir to. Okay, so what is it about? It is, well, first off, this is, again, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater by Kurt Vonnegut. An alternate title, I don't know where this was used, but it was called Pearls Before Swine, or sometimes referred to as God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, or Pearls Before Swine, as in the full title. So it was published in 1965, and it's a political satire. I guess it's a very funny book. That's what I liked about it. I don't know which other books and tea I've done on Kurt Vonnegut books, but I've read quite a few. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely really good. My favorite is Mother Night. I really don't remember if I've done a books and tea, but if I haven't, I really need to. So, it's a very funny book centered around the character Elliot Rosewater, who was born into a rich family, the Rosewaters, which are in the book described as richer than the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, and they're basically the American family household name to describe wealth. But they're very, as most rich people are, or at least described in this book, stingy and unwilling to share their money or part with their wealth in any way, so they pass down their money through the Rosewater Foundation to not have it taxed and other things. So this is passed down to Elliot Rosewater by his father, who is Senator Rosewater. And basically is crazy. He has bouts of amnesia, and he's very in the clouds. He's in the clouds all the time, but what he does is he gets an office in the town of Rosewater, Indiana, and he basically helps all the useless people of society, or that's how they're described in the book. So it's like, jobless, poor people, people who are just, they don't have luck in life. And he helps them in all kinds of ways, mainly by giving his money from the Rosewater Foundation to them. So if they're having financial trouble, legal trouble, he'll pay for the lawyer. It's a suicide hotline, so people will call it. And I think there's a line from the book where it's like, name your rock bottom price to go on living for one more week. So even that, he'll, just give them some money. So it's really interesting, and the people of the town of Rosewater all flock to him, but his father does not approve. There are multiple parallel stories in this book. So in Rhode Island, there's another group of Rosewaters who are unaware that they are related to the fortune in any way. But there's a lawyer named Norman Mushari. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've only ever read the name, so. And he is trying to take the fortune away and give it to Fred Rosewater, who is one of the Rhode Island Rosewaters, by proving that Elliot Rosewater is insane, or legally insane, in a court case. So basically the motives are, Senator Rosewater really doesn't want Elliot Rosewater to be proven insane, because then that branch of the family loses the fortune. Yeah, so that's like the storyline, but there's a lot of, tangents that take on their own stories. And there's a lot of commentary on society, as with any Kurt Vonnegut book. A pretty obvious dig at capitalism. It's not preachy, though. I'd say it's pretty cynical, which is what I like about it. I think it's really commenting on just like wealth in general, and especially in America and at that time period, and capitalism, and how rich people view poor people. It's in a very comedic and satirical way that it does that. So I found it really funny. There's a lot of irony, that makes it funny. It's a pretty short book. The actual story is 275 pages. There's also sort of references or connections to the other Kurt Vonnegut books. So for example, characters who are named the same thing, like Kilgore Trout, which is the author that is referenced in most of Kurt Vonnegut's books, as being a sci-fi writer who writes in a very vulgar fashion, but touches on, important topics while just writing about, like, sci-fi. So, he is actually a character in this book. I'm not sure which other books he's a character in. Slaughterhouse-5. So, that's definitely one. I think he's referenced in most of the books, but anyways, he's a character in this one. Towards the end, Elliot Rosewater is in a like a mental hospital, and they bring in Kilgore Trout because Elliot Rosewaters is like a Elliot Rosewater. Oh my god, sorry. He's a fan of Kilgore the Trout. So and then there's some great quotes that come out of this book. Let's see if I can find any. When I did my Ready Player 2 review, I had like marked up the book and bookmarked quotes, but honestly, this book was, maybe I'll say hard to get through, but not because of the book. Like, I would still recommend it. I think it was just because I was kind of in a reading slump for a while, and this was the book that I was reading, so it was really hard to keep getting back into it, and then I'd take long breaks. So I didn't mark it up or anything. Oh, here's one of the quotes I really like from this book. Pretend to be good always, and even God will be fooled. Yeah, I also think there's a lot of commentary in it. I say commentary, like themes, in the book. Not just about wealth inequality and all that stuff, but also about how the human experience and sense of purpose has changed a lot. And Kilgore Trout will comment on this, but it's like how they'll refer to, poor people as useless, the whole book. But both Elliot's wife, who he's separated from, and Kilgore Trout mention things like human beings deserve to be helped because they're human beings, not because they do any job or have any use. I think there's also a lot of comment on the lack of, not just the lack of purpose, but the lack of meaning in one's life, and I think it's described as like a lack of spiritual meaning, but it's like how everything you do is just like work, and just like lay around, like how art is inaccessible to most of us and meaningless, and I don't know. It's very hard to describe because there's actually so much packed in there. It's such a bizarre story, but I just, for the comedy, for the satire, the intriguing characters, and it's just a short read, I would really recommend this. I'm on to my next Kurt Vonnegut book already. I'm reading Slapstick right now, and the funny thing is I've never read, his like main books, the one people know, other than Slaughterhouse-Five, which was the book. No, actually that wasn't what got me into Kurt Vonnegut. What got me into Kurt Vonnegut was this short story Harrison Bergeron, which I now own the collection of his short stories, including the Harrison Bergeron and Welcome to the Monkey House, which is my favorite of his short stories. But I've read Sirens of Titan, Mother Night, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, and his short story collection. I guess that's it, and I'm reading Slapstick right now, which is also very funny. But yeah, I do intend to read Cat's Cradle and Breakfast of Champions and I intend to read his entire collection of books because his writing style is just very, I don't know, I don't know why I just got so attached to it. It's really hard to read anything else because it's just so literal but so funny at the same time. So if anyone else can suggest anything like that, I'd highly appreciate it, but I can't promise I'll read anything else. So yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions, if you're gonna read this book, or if you have, what you thought. I hope you like these books in tea. I think even if you don't care about books or tea, hold on, I need to sip now. Even if you don't care about books or tea, it's like a ramble video. And one thing for me that gives me ASMR is when people talk about their interests, talk about something they're knowledgeable about, and just whatever it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. So yeah, leave a comment and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.